Hello, heathens. Welcome to Girls Gone Godless, the podcast where we think the only book that should be banned in schools is the Bible. I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Noe.
Today we have our special guest, Liv, joining us. We ran across her TikTok series where she is reading the Bible cover to cover, so we invited her on the show to pick her brain because not only is she stunning and funny, just like us, but we also don't want to do the work of reading the whole thing ourselves. We can't wait to hear the ending to see if Jesus lives a long, happy life. Please don't spoil it for us. Welcome, Liv. Thank you for being here.
Yay!
Hey, everyone. I grew up Episcopalian. Went to church like every Sunday until I was 10 and my parents got divorced. When my parents got divorced, my dad, I figured out, was super atheist and heard from him growing up that God was not real. So I was like very confused. Went through my high school time very confused as well. I was very like intrigued by Christianity. I joined for like 6 months, was going to Bible study and everything in senior year of high school. And then they said something at Bible study where I was like, I really don't agree with that, and never went back. And then I got kind of interested in Judaism because I was going to a Jewish gym in LA and got like surrounded by the culture of it. So I learned a lot about Judaism. And now I'm reading the Bible because I don't know. I love talking about Christianity. It's so interesting to me, like fascinating.
It is.
Do you remember what it was when you said that you were in that Bible class or whatever? What was the thing that triggered this whole, like, this is not real, this is crazy? Or can you remember specifically what that was?
Yeah. So it was exam week and Wednesday night there was Bible study. And they were talking about how like it's not appropriate to skip church. And one of the girls was like, well, I couldn't go to church this Sunday because I had to study for my exam. And she goes, okay, why didn't you go Saturday night? And she's like, my family like couldn't drive me and I can't drive. And she was like, and this is how we have a clear pathway to hell. And I said,
Oh my God.
Oh my
oh
God.
my gosh. And I said,
Wow.
yeah, I'm never coming back here again. Never. That was it.
Right? So you can go to hell for like studying and killing people. Like it's all the same. You go to the same place for doing stupid, dumb shit, good shit, and really, really bad shit.
Yeah. Can you tell us what it was like growing up Episcopalian? Because I don't think I've ever met anybody that grew up in an Episcopal church.
Right. I was like, did you only eat fish? Is that what it is? No, that's a pescatarian. That's a pescatarian.
I was like, where's that coming from?
No, growing up Episcopalian was pretty chill, not gonna lie. Like, we have the Book of Prayer. We don't have the Bible in Episcopalian churches.
start.
But you still do communion, so got to eat the little holy squares or circles. The youth group there when I was young was really cool. We went on a lot of like really great camping trips and then also did a lot of community service work. So I got exposed to that pretty young. And I never remember hearing anything in church. Like I never heard any service that stood out to me where I was like, ugh, I love this or hate this. It was just like, I have to go to church. I don't want to go to church like every week. So when I had the opportunity not to go, I just didn't want to go because it was boring. But I remember being like, not hyper fixated on God, but death was really scary still is really scary for me as a child. Like even in high school, we were talking about it in class and I started crying because I was like so freaked out about dying. And I always thought I was dying. Like I thought I had like a disease or something that's like killing me. And when I was younger, I remember asking my dad in the car, I was like, do you believe in God? And he was like, no, God doesn't exist. I was like, interesting. And my mom is like super Christian. So it was like very interesting to hear my dad talk about these things. And I was like, okay, so where do we go after we die then? And he was like, you get put into a box and you go on the ground and you decompose. That's all that happens.
That's comforting for a child.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, I remember bringing it up it was my anatomy class, chemistry or anatomy, one of the two. And my teacher, we had like a really long discussion about it. And hearing like the scientific point of view just was so much more real. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just like, this just makes
it does.
a little bit more sense. It like makes you question it more when you think you're going to heaven. I don't know if that makes sense, but it like makes you more confused about what happens after, I feel like. So it was just like, wow, make the most of your life.
Right. Yeah. Live like you only have one life. And if there happens to be something afterwards, great. If not, it's like, who cares?
I really hope not. Like, I'm
Exactly.
tired already.
That's what my sister says. She's pretty atheist. She's like, it's just like a long sleep. Like, you get rest after you live such a fulfilling life.
Right. We don't remember where we came from. So it's like we don't need to know where we're going. But I think for kids, it's hard to not, like your dad did, like nothing, and I
Mhm.
feel that way too. But I do feel like you can't get rid of energy. So our energy has to
Mhm.
go somewhere. You go into
Yeah.
the ground and you feed trees, or you, you know,
Mhm.
become stardust. I don't know, whatever it is. Like I try to tell my kids, like, try not to be like, there's nothing. That's it. You're just dead and it's black.
Yeah, I still struggle with that,
Like,
honestly. I know a lot of people, like you said, they're like, "Well, then you've lived long enough." And I'm like, "I don't like that. I don't like that at
Yeah.
all." So, I totally understand that feeling. It's overwhelming. So, that's something I
yeah,
still struggle with for sure. But that doesn't mean that the God of the Bible is real just because I'm scared of what happens. None of it
right.
makes sense still. So,
And
Sure.
Liv, is your
Mhm.
mom still super Christian now?
Yeah, we've been having a lot of talks recently. It's very interesting. And one thing she keeps saying to me is like, wow, you've read more of the Bible than I have so far. And I'm like, Mom,
Mm,
let's get reading. Come on.
Yeah.
like you're
right.
so close to the point.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of conversation with her because I don't know if she still goes to church, but her fiance is also very religious as well. So yeah, she definitely still leans that way.
Has she seen your series? Did she love it?
She thinks it's very interesting, and I want to read all the religious texts. That's my goal. I just like love learning about it. I'm going back to school to study it. I love this stuff so much. I think it's so interesting. But yeah, she thinks it's just cool that I'm doing it. She's like, honestly, I respect you for doing it. If I don't agree, that's okay. But I
Mhm.
know my story of why I believe in God, like that sort of thing too. So,
Right. There's probably a little inkling in there where she thinks that you might have a change of heart,
oh,
but
everyone
it's
thinks
usually
that.
people who read the Bible
Right.
cover to cover are the ones who end up atheists anyway. So you're starting, you're already at the finish line. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a comment I keep getting very I'm praying for Jesus to reveal himself to you, like, he's talking through you and all this stuff, and I'm like, "I hate to break it to you. I
yeah,
don't think that's happening." Like, I'm like, everything I say is kind of bad. I don't have any great opinions yet, you know what I mean? Not great, but, like, good.
Yeah. So how far have you gotten in the Bible now? Like, where are you at?
I'm on Joshua. I'm on page 187. So chapter like 8, 9 of Joshua. So marching through.
we talked about Joshua yesterday with our guests, and it reminded me of a song that my stepmom used to sing my brother, because his name's Joshua, about the Battle of Jericho and the walls came tumbling down. But then our guests were like, and that story is so horrible. And they turned it into a children's song that just stops at that point and doesn't go on to tell you about the massacre that follows.
Yeah. That's a common theme I've been noticing because people have sent me videos to watch, the Bible Project in particular. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Bible Project, but it's so popular. Like the amount of times that I've been sent this is kind of insane. And I went and watched. I'm like, okay, and we forgot like the part where they're killing children.
Right.
Right.
That part's not important.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. That's a footnote.
Yeah, and, like, one of the stories I read today about a robber, someone commented, "Oh, they didn't tell me about the last part because his punishment was him, his sister, his daughters, and his wife were to be stoned to death with all their animals, then burned, and then have a pile of rocks toppled on the top of them, in a tower to, like, remind everyone what will happen if you sin."
Sounds reasonable.
Just, like, intense.
Right. Like he couldn't have just slapped him with a fine, sent him to jail. I don't know.
The punishments are weird.
I was gonna ask, like, like, the worst story you've read and, like, the most surprising story that you've read so far.
The worst story I've read still has got to be Adam and Eve. There's so much injustice. It like enrages me. It makes me very, very upset. And I want to write about it too, because I'm interested in writing like about underlying themes we need to pay attention to. Because like the underlying themes has been what shaped our country we live in. Like there's systemic things and ramifications that this has had. But the Adam and Eve thing, chapter 3, it's like the woman, her punishment is so just different than the man's punishment. And it's so unfair. And I struggle with that. And like hearing people justify it makes me even more mad. I heard this example the other day when I was watching a YouTube video. He was talking about evolution and like Genesis, but Christians like have the answer and they have to find the evidence. They know what it means, but they have to like justify and go through so many mental gymnastics and like hurdles to make it make sense. They have to pull other texts of interpretations of what they think it means to prove it. But the most surprising story, I think the one that I've been like most interested in, I figured this out yesterday, is how unjustified Moses is. That man didn't deserved to go into Israel. Like he deserved to cross the Jordan, but he disobeyed God one time and he was like, for your sins, you will not cross. You can watch, but you're going to die on this mountain. And I'm like, he just dedicated his whole life to serving you, left Egypt. He was like the Pharaoh's son in line for king, like led 2 million people out of Egypt. Put them
Right.
through hell, pretty much. You killed them all. That story has been like most surprising, I guess, in a bad way.
Yeah. God is so emotional, so out of control. He does say he's a jealous God.
Many
He's not
times.
stable, not stable.
Not stable.
Men tend to be that way.
Yeah. It's just like the all-knowing thing doesn't seem to be adding up. Like he is definitely not, he doesn't know everything. Because he doesn't know how these
But
people
no
are going to
shit.
react. Yeah, exactly. So it's just interesting.
We had a guest that brought up a really good point that in no other place in your life would that be acceptable. Like you can't go to work and do your whole job and do everything your boss tells you. And then on payday, he goes, we're not going to pay you. It'll come when it's, time to come, or all the stuff I promised you, we're not going to give you. You wouldn't accept that. You'd be like, fuck that. Give me my paycheck. I did the work. And here, like Moses and all these people that dedicate their life to him. And then it's like it comes down to it for them to reap their rewards. And he's like, no, fuck you. You messed up one little thing and then you don't get anything. And you get to be killed.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. And like when people try to put it into the father kid perspective, I'm like, that also just makes it worse. That's just like an abusive parent. None of the justifications that they give are justifying the action for me. And it's just like you're reaching at this point to make it make sense.
They love the good old reach around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do that a lot.
And a good old
They
circle
do.
jerk. Yeah. No, I've definitely been thinking more about how if you view God as the father, he's a really awful dad. Like he's the deadbeat dad, right? Where he knows what the child needs because he's all knowing, right? And he has this ability to just give you whatever it is that you could ever need or want, but just chooses not to sometimes. And he picks favorites with his kids and doesn't listen to other kids and like refuses to establish a relationship with a kid that maybe did one or two things wrong in their life and will just sentence you to eternal damnation if you don't love him back. I mean, I have a shit dad myself. And so it's really been this unpacking of like, oh, wow, God is a shit dad.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you don't love him back, he's going to torture you for all eternity. But then they say you have free will. You can do whatever you want, but if you don't do the right things that I haven't told you, you just have to guess what the right thing is. And if you get it wrong, sorry, you're going to be tortured forever. I would never do
Yeah.
that to my kids, but that's me.
I also had this thought in conversation with one of my friends a little while ago about why personifying God is a bad thing. Like, personally, I believe in a higher power. I call it God, like I pray to God for sure, but it's so much different than a deity. I vision God as a light, like just a light we're praying to in the universe. And I was like, when you pedestalize a human like that, it's like nothing they can ever do is wrong. And I don't know how to explain this properly, but like if you go through a bad thing, you handle it differently. He's like, he's putting me through it because like I did this, like the shame. That's the word I was looking for. But like when we personify that figure or that higher power, it automatically creates a dominance and a hierarchy between the two people. So that's where I take trouble with that. And I'm like, I will not convert to Christianity. I don't believe in heaven and hell. I don't believe God to be a figure of any kind. I think God lives in everyone, just in a way that we can work with the universe. We worship Mother Nature. Like we love the people around us because we're all actually just the same. Like there's no difference between any of us, just our personality and our circumstances. And I was talking today about how Christianity gives people a entitlement. I've noticed this, and especially with people in the Jewish faith too, because the first 5 books of the Bible are in the Torah. And there is a certain amount of entitlement there of like, God picked us. We were the ones that were picked. Why didn't he pick everyone else? Like, that's so unfair. And you have to do these certain things so God will pick you. But like, you're never going to be that pure because you're not like born into it. It's just weird.
And it would be fine if people treated their religion like that. Like, this is my own, this is who I believe God or a higher power is. But when you start making laws and you start killing people and you start hating people for certain things that are in a book, it makes it so fucking frustrating.
It's so unbelievable that it would be a man. First of all, it was a man that created everything and created life. And second of all, that it's like these Bronze Age goat herders. They're the ones who got it right. And all of the misogyny and all of the violence, that's fine. They got it right thousands of years ago. They're the ones who are correct. It's just bizarre.
I was listening to a podcast recently about the possibility of the use of psychedelics in the time that the Bible was written. Have you heard about this?
Yes, the sacred mushroom and the cross.
Okay.
Yes.
So there was
sorry. There's a book
Oh
on
no,
it.
I haven't read the book. I want to read the book. I'm very interested. But what this woman was saying was that anytime that barley is mentioned in the Bible, there was like a fungus that grew on the barley and they would make a drink with it and then they would have basically the equivalent of like an LSD trip. So I was wondering in the time that you've been reading the Bible, which story do you think for sure someone was drinking that barley LSD?
Yes, I'm so interested in this, and I really do think that this is the way for people to understand what God is like through psychedelics. Not to say everyone should do them, but like in your lifetime, oh my gosh, it's just such a opening experience. But I 100% think this is what happened with Moses, to be honest with you, because he comes into a burning bush. And also, he was tossed around the Nile as an infant in a basket. There was either some of that going on or he was drinking something. So I think that it was like delusion, tiredness, hallucination. Maybe he drank something or he just had like a dose of something going on in his brain to make him think that he was talking to things or seeing things because, again, God doesn't make himself known to anyone else. And all of these accounts are from Moses. So what if he's the only one seeing the dust swirl or like the fire at night, all this stuff? And what if he's actually committing all these killings? It's interesting. Like it's him, not actually God. Like, cause he's just envisioning it. It can go so deep. Like that's like when you get into like, oh, your own interpretation. But I find that so interesting.
Right. That's what they do. That's what they do.
That's what churches do. That's what the different denominations do. It's their own interpretation and they teach based on what they think it is, right? So if they can do that, why can't we?
Mm-hmm.
You've inspired me because I signed up for a world religion and intro to religion class for next semester just because I want to learn more. But you've inspired me to push through starting to read the Bible because I got like, I don't know, a couple pages into Genesis and I was like, I don't think I can do this. And I even bought like the little tabbies that show you. And I only put 3 on because I even got bored with that.
The way that I've pushed through, because it's been some of the days I've read 1 page because I'm like, I can't do this today. I just see it as a mythological story, and that has really changed my perspective on it. My sister mentioned this to me today too, about how I'm approaching it from just reading it as is rather than a religious background perspective. And so I'm seeing it very differently. Like I'm seeing it as characters. Like this character is doing this and who's the villain? It's obvious. Like there's no deeper meaning behind it. Like why is there a metaphor of Noah's Ark? What metaphor are we looking for there? Like why are we trying to dig deeper into that story? It's almost like silly. And I feel bad saying that, but yeah, since looking at it that way, I'm like, the story is exciting now. Like, what's going to happen next? Who's going to be who? So I'm just trying to look at it from that perspective. But doing that and reading a fiction book on the side has been very helpful.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Doing it your way, I think, is better. Like just knowing that I'm going to read a few pages and get through and, just suck it up. But yeah, you're making it seem a little more fun. And I might just watch your videos from the beginning and then just start where you leave off so I don't have to go back.
I need like a modern condensed version because I can't. My ADHD brain just wanders so bad. I'm like, can we spiff this up a bit for me? I don't know. Just give me some pictures or
So much repetition. I'm like, you told me the rules for 3 books now. I get it.
What has been, like, some of the response from people on your videos?
It's been very interesting. I've received more DMs from Christians. Actually, I've received pretty equal of like atheists or agnostics and religious people. And all the religious people just try to be like, well, you're not looking at it the right way. Like, this is what it actually means. And I just like, be a little bit more positive when you're reading it, or like pray before you read it for guidance. And then offering me videos, read this book, go to this link, like all this stuff. Then the people that have deconstructed their religion have been like, this is so healing. Thank you for doing this. Like the most kindest messages ever. And then I had one girl, she went off on me about how I ruined her day. I'm being so disrespectful. I was like, you gotta chill out.
Sounds like her
Right.
faith isn't strong enough.
Get off the internet, like, you're in devil
Right.
territory, you gotta go. But, then on my Instagram, because my Instagram's more personal, I don't really have a following on there or anything, but a lot of the people that follow me, I have known from high school or are family members or even friends that I've met out here that are very religious. Hearing what they have to say to my response is almost like they kinda think I'm stupid. That's the vibe that has been given off of, like, not interpreting it correctly because I just don't understand.
Well, you don't have the Holy Spirit going through you or whatever.
Mhm, and I'm
Right.
looking for the bad stuff, and I've had a lot of people, like, send me verses, but I'm like, "Okay, I get what you're sending me, and I read that, but then read the next verse." Like, you sending me one verse isn't reading the whole chapter. There is context to be had within that one verse you sent,
Right.
and it's just weird because I was like, "I'm just reading a different version than you." Like, I'm very confused.
But if you have to approach reading it with these rose-colored glasses and they're like, you have to justify or guess. Like, if God wants us to know him and it's such a perfect book, then why would he make it difficult for us to understand? Why would he have all of these different meanings? We could interpret it different ways. It doesn't make sense on any level.
That's another thing too, is it's not perfect because it's man-made and nothing by man will ever be perfect. And I'm like, I totally understand what you're saying. But at the same time, these people who are writing the Bible knew the perfect man and talked to the perfect man. So you would expect that their words would be perfect. Also, the entire doctrine, like this is the one thing I'm like, this entire doctrine is what your religion is based off of. So why is it that flawed? The spirituality and religion, like separation is like spirituality is knowing God, but I'm like, just get rid of the religion. Just know God. Like, have that for you. And I had this book that I read this summer. It's called The Disappearance of Rituals by Byung-Chul Han. And he talks about how we just do things out of repetition and do things because we have to, not because it's a ritual to us. And that's how kind of I feel about how people act around church. And I'm like, if you want to pray, have it be that sacred time for you, have it be a part of you. Don't have it be your whole personality and have to like have it consume everything you do,
Mhm.
because then it becomes repetition because you have to, rather than ritual because you want to and want to have that relationship with God.
Right. And not everybody around you has to believe what you believe. And so when you're
Mhm.
trying to get everybody to think the same way, like how boring would it be if everybody
It would just be Handmaid's Tale.
Yep.
Mhm.
If we would be in
Yeah.
Gilead. I heard a really interesting perspective yesterday. Basically, the guy was saying Jesus came to the earth, and if Jesus was God, why didn't Jesus just write the Bible himself? If he is God's direct messenger, and if there were important things for him to get across, why not just have Jesus write the Bible? And to me, I was like, wow, I had never thought about that, but I was thinking about that now when you mentioned, like, if these people, these men who knew this perfect God, if this is the best portrayal that they have of him, like, yikes, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's the shrooms. It's the barley acid. It's the
Mhm.
whatever it was.
It's something. It's something. But what about the people that live, in the rainforest and don't have the opportunity to understand or even be exposed to it? Are they all going to hell? Like,
Okay, so this is a whole other section that's so messed up, because if you never met God in your life and never were told about God, you get an automatic free pass to heaven. Like if you don't know the Christian God, you're going to heaven for sure because you've never sinned. You didn't know you could sin against him. It's like the not knowing part. But missionaries were created to obviously colonize people into Christianity, but they were to expose people. So they have the fear of, oh, shoot, if I don't convert right now, I'm literally going to hell. And if they choose not to convert, they're literally going to hell. They rejected Jesus. And I learned about this because I just moved to Texas a year ago and we went to the Bob Bullock Museum here in Austin with my work. And two of them were history majors. And one of them was describing because the Texas History Museum leaves a lot about slavery out. Like they like forget to tell that part. And
Shocking.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
They
of
forget.
like
Yeah.
the colonization part when they first get here. And so they're all describing all of this and they explained how they enslaved people through missionaries as well. And I was like, ooh. And they explained what missionaries actually did because I was confused why a missionary is bad. But I'm like, holy crap, you're literally exposing people to Jesus Christ who they have never heard of. And if they choose that this is like kind of bogus or they are like, no, they're just going to hell.
Right. So you'd
Yeah.
actually be saving them and you'd be saving money by just staying your ass at home.
Yep.
Right. They have an automatic heaven pass.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
pretty fucked up.
Just leave those children alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because then they're not tithing. That's
Well, yeah, 'cause
the
church
whole
is a
thing. They can
business.
get money from them. Yes.
A lot of money given away
Yeah.
Mhm.
to the
Yeah.
church.
And again, those people in the Amazon rainforest, why doesn't God go to them? Like he can. He could totally just like beam down and be like, hey, I'm here.
He's like, go through this series of riddles and guess right or torture forever and ever. But hey, do whatever you want. Free will.
Right.
Have you guys watched Alex O'Connor before? He's a really, really great YouTuber. And he has like philosophical conversations, especially about church and Christianity. And one thing he always says is like, whenever God reveals himself, why is there never a camera around? Why are these things never
Right.
able to be documented when people have direct conversation with God? And that really made me think about how I started, because I used to be pretty atheist and then I like kind of started to believe in God. And the reason I did was because of a shroom trip, actually. And it gave me like this deeper understanding of what we are and how our souls work, I guess, and like where our souls come from. But it's a very personal experience that's going to be different for everyone. And he was having a debate on The Diary of a CEO with Dr. K and then this Christian guy. I think he was a pastor or something. And they're talking about the experience of having a holy experience or one of those like testimonies. And Dr. K was like, I can't tell you if I'm not going to tell you because that just boosts my ego more to tell you that I know what God is, because that's a personal experience for everyone. And it's not something that can be taught to someone else. Like lineage doesn't work in the way we think it does when it comes to spirituality. It doesn't when it comes to like religion and the philosophies of that religion. But in spirituality, that's a personal journey always. Like even atheistic belief, that's your own personal journey to come to that and like have that be your belief. And that's like, again, a part of you, not your personality. So it is interesting, but yeah.
I don't know if you listen to Britt Hartley at all. We had her on the show. You
No, I
would
don't think so.
probably love her because she does like agnostic, atheist, but like spirituality and kind of combines the two, like taking all of the good parts of religion and leaving the dogma behind. I remember hearing her talk about that atheists, when they do hallucinogens, they will connect usually to some kind of higher power, but that they don't go back to religion. They find their own thing and it doesn't send them back necessarily. So I think everyone should try it once or twice or however many times you want to.
And when you're like so stuck in the dogma too, I had a conversation with this guy at the beginning of the year when I first started reading Plato and I read about the death and trial of Socrates. And Socrates is put to death because he makes all the children question why they should follow the gods. Because why is what the gods say is right? Like we should question these things. That has had such an impact on how I perceive the world. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I kind of like just made my own religion for myself. You can't do that. That's like like blasphemy. That's
You can
completely
totally do that.
inappropriate. Yeah, you're
Sacrilegious
going to
or-
hell. Like, yeah. And that was like a really interesting moment for me. And then I had another girl at my philosophy club that I go to pretty much tell me that I'm going to hell because of the God I believe in, that I didn't accept Jesus Christ as my savior. She was like, yeah, I'm sorry, Liv, like you're going to hell when you get to judgment
She in
day.
the right class?
Right?
No, this was just our club. Yeah, my club is filled with a lot of religious people, so it's interesting to have conversations with people that are very coded.
Philosophical. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, it's really all theological, it's not philosophical. It can be frustrating sometimes, but I do love talking about it, so I can't complain too much.
And you mentioning that, like creating your own religion, when we did have Britt Hartley on, we talk about that a lot, like how you can take those things, like rituals that are important to you,
Mhm.
and even picking your own saints in a way of like people who really resonate with you, whether it's like real people from history or it's fiction. What would this person do in this scenario to help them guide
Mhm.
you? And you don't have to believe they're hovering over you and watching everything you do. You can still be inspired by
Exactly.
people and be like, what would they do in this scenario?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that comes into mind for me, like with veneration of ancestors, right? So when I'm cooking in the kitchen, I think about my great grandmother and the memories that I had with her when I was little and cooking with her and how much I enjoy her food. And I try to embody that. I'm like, I want my food to feel like it was her that made it. So she's in my pantheon of saints.
She's
Mhm.
a fucking great chef then. Sorry to interrupt, but
No, it's true. It's true. She was.
it's
She
real
was an incredible
it's
chef.
real
So
good. Real
I
good.
channel her. I channel her when I'm cooking in the kitchen. Like Noe and I have a big love for New York, not the state, but the person Tiffany Pollard, who it might be before your time, Liv, but she was on a show called Flavor of Love with Flava Flav, and so she would have all these really sassy quotes and things. And so when I need to channel like sassy, hyper feminine energy, I think about her.
Yeah.
Or like in my journey as a new mom, I think of the people in my life that have been very nurturing, or not just people, but like elephants. I think they're very maternal and very nurturing. So like they're also in my pantheon of personal saints. So like I definitely resonate with the idea of creating your own religion. And one thing that I've done is I've created not my own Bible, but like I have a document that I call like my personal code of conduct. And so it has my beliefs written down in a physical, tangible place. And like I encourage everybody to do that, because if it's
Yeah.
okay for people to have that as the Bible, why would you not have that for yourself? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I have one too.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, yeah. I've been writing down all of my like, what I believe, and how to, like not, like, live, but the best policies of the world, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, how to work with the universe, how to align yourself, all of that sort of stuff. Because I wanna remember it. I wanna, like, if my
Yeah.
kids, like, find it when I die, they can be like, "Wow, look what mom believed. This is crazy."
Right.
And you should have
Versus,
that.
you know,
What
finding,
some man told
stuff
you to
that's like,
do
yes,
thousands
yeah,
of years
something
ago.
written by some dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of dudes.
Just a bunch of dudes tripping on shrooms, basically. And it's like, well, if they
Shrooms.
can, why can't
Yep.
I?
Exactly.
Yeah, I always say that Joseph Smith had to have been on shrooms when he discovered Mormonism or whatever.
Who knows? I
I think he was
mean,
just a scammer.
he's like, how can I marry this 13-year-old and make sure that I can take everyone else's wives too? God has told me I must.
Right.
I have a deep philosophical question for you, Liv. Oh, so you've read Noah's Ark story, obviously, at this point in your Bible
Mhm.
journey. How do you think Noah gathered the animals? What do you think that process looked like?
Just watched a whole video about this yesterday because it is really interesting. And that's literally something I wrote in my article on Substack. Like, number one, what happened to all the animals in the sea? Number two, like, you need oxygen to survive. And if you're wiping everything out, like, what the heck? Insects, all of like the insects in the world. It does say no insects, but like, how would the insects start to, come to life? The poop on the boat. There's one window. Like, how are these animals breathing? It must have smelled god awful. Where did the food come from for 150 days? The animal part, though, there's like two theories of the animals just instinctively knew. Like, if you've ever seen what is the movie Evan Almighty, the
Mm,
animals just knew to show up. And then secondly, it's like he lived for 900 years. Like he
Right.
lived for a long time. So to round them up, he would be able to do so. But yeah, some of them live past their literal lifespan, so that it just doesn't make sense. Some of them would have procreated on the ark, so that doesn't
Mhm.
make sense.
Right. Well, we always say God loves killing babies, so they definitely just threw him overboard.
Loves killing
Loves.
babies. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's so much animal sacrifice too. I almost turned vegetarian because of that. Like the aura and the smell will please the Lord. You're just hosting a barbecue, and then the people can't even
Right.
eat the food because it's sacrificial. And so
Right.
it's like,
What a
you're taking
waste.
these people's foods away. I guess you're making it smell good, but they can't even eat the food. So yeah,
He's so mean.
he is evil.
We had a theory that the insects were in Noah's beard, so that's how they got.
Oh,
Because he was 900 years old, and so his
Right.
beard was very old.
that makes sense though.
Like, were there termites on the ark? Because if the ark is wood and you needed, but you said no insects, but how did we get here?
Right.
A lot of questions unanswered. It says you can't bring insects, something like that. There's very specific rules for them to bring
Interesting.
on.
Because it was like 2 of
Yeah.
every unclean animal, 7 of every clean animal, and then I guess no insects?
Yeah, it's everything on dry land that has the breath of life with nostrils. So no fish, no insects, like anything that doesn't breathe out of nostrils would not get taken on the boat. So yeah, and then that leads to the whole question of like, how did the animals populate? Like, doesn't really make sense.
So God cleansed the whole earth, and then after that, he was like, "Let's put some mosquitoes in there." That
Yeah,
sounds good. Right.
and roaches and mosquitoes that can cause malaria.
God just loves diseases.
Loves
Mhm.
diseases, puts them on
Mhm.
everything, I swear.
What was your favorite of the 10 plagues?
The frogs. That was pretty funny. That would be
Love
really and that would be terrifying. Like, really think about a bunch of frogs coming at you. That would be
Were they
very
falling
scary.
from the sky or
No, they came out of the blood-filled Nile.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Duh,
yeah,
duh. It's the
yeah.
most logical answer. I should
Obviously,
have known.
Noe.
Obviously. No, yeah, they came out of the blood-filled Nile. It's
Okay,
disgusting.
And whose blood?
cool, cool.
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
It was just algae of some sort, and they were like, "Nope, it has to be blood.
Yeah,
Must be blood."
yeah, it's interesting. The punishments are weird.
Yeah, it's all pretty weird. A lot of foreskins.
There's so many
Yes.
foreskins.
Do you think that God loves them or hates them?
I think he's disappointed. He's disappointed in his creation.
Okay. So he's having second thoughts about it. So it's like DIY. Like, actually, I don't like that idea anymore. Can you just cut it off?
Yeah, I have this theory that God goes through character development because everyone is like, just wait till the New Testament. God humbles himself and comes down to earth, humbling himself. That is going through an arc of change. And the Old Testament God is constantly mad with people acting with human nature and mad when they use the free will that he gave them. And when they don't make the right decisions, then they get punished and it's all fear-based. Literally, they built a tower to heaven and you said, "Oh, they're getting too powerful. Disperse, go learn a new language, and then I'm just going to pick one group of you to save." That's insane.
It doesn't sound like it was written by those people themselves at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's the loser's perspective? We only hear from
Right.
the winners.
Yeah, well, that's par for the course with everything, especially the stuff written in this country. It should be on the ballots when you vote that if you believe Noah's Ark happened for real, if you mark yes, the floor just opens and you fall into a pit
Swallows
of
you
alligators.
whole.
Yes.
Yeah. I just saw a video on TikTok today about it's like that, "In Jesus' name, we rebuke you. Get out of our spirit." And the people are like, "Ah," like freaking out and like flying on the floor. And my friend commented goes, and these people can vote, by the way. Like these people are in deep religious psychosis. Like the rapture that was going to happen this summer. These people are in psychosis.
Yeah, not only can they vote, they do vote a
They
lot more than other populations of people. So you need to get out there and vote because those people sure are. They're lining up to do
vote,
it.
vote,
Right.
vote.
Not only are they voting, but they run
Exactly.
for stuff and they win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also that. Also that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's terrifying. I wish people would just do their own thing. It would just be, I mean, this podcast wouldn't exist, but if everybody just did their own thing, had their beliefs, and just kept them to themselves, it would be fine.
Right.
But
When I think about like not getting rid of religion, but everything we believe is kind of just a social construct and how we act is like literally just made up by us. And it would be interesting to see what we would see as evil or good or morally right or wrong. Like, how would we come to a consensus on that? My dad did point this out, and he was like, religion is good for some people. Like, some people really need that moral guide. And how would we provide that for the people that don't know how to? But those tend to be the worst people and don't understand how to read morals correctly.
right. And if you need somebody to teach you about morals, then are you really that moral? Like if you need those guidelines and you need fear of hell or the promise of heaven to be a good person, are you really a good person?
Yeah,
We
I
have that
wonder that
argument
as
all the
well.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pausing because I don't want to keep cutting Aaliyah off.
Nope,
And I
I wasn't
always
gonna
feel
say
like I see you about to say something. Okay.
nope, nope, go
I'm so
ahead.
sorry that there's a
No, go
delay.
ahead.
Technology hates us lately. And now, of course, I forget what I was going to say.
We all have
Somebody
ADHD.
else
That's the
go.
problem
Sorry.
here. That's
Yeah.
what's going on, Liv, is that Christina, Noe,
No,
and I
it's
all have
Satan.
AD. Okay, it's
It's
Satan or
the devil.
God. Yeah, or it's God
Right.
himself.
Sorry.
Someone's He's intervening with this
Yeah.
happening. This Satan would be happy.
Well,
Right.
okay. So Satan, what do you feel about him? Like, because I feel like he's not the villain. I mean, I don't believe in the devil as, because I don't believe in God and you can't believe in one and not the other. But I don't feel like in the story he's the villain. So,
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean, we haven't reached Satan yet because he comes in. I
oh,
forget
right.
when Satan comes in, but I haven't reached Satan's lore story yet. So
Right.
I'll
Right.
let you know when I get there. But
He's just doing what he's told, right?
yeah. And that's another thing, too. I have had this conversation a lot with people today, specifically about who are we to say what the people were doing back then was like it. Like, we don't know what they were actually doing. This is written by one person's account. Like, we don't actually know what the people were doing when Moses was up on the hill talking to Mount Sinai, talking to God. He was gone for 40 days and then he comes back and figures out what happened. But we don't know the actual, like, thought process because to me these people create a gold calf to worship while Moses is on the mountain of Sinai for 40 days and while getting the tablets inscribed with the 10 commandments. And when he comes back down, God unleashes his wrath because they're worshiping a false idol and they broke his covenant. But I'm like, we're the smartest humans have ever been, and still some people cannot grasp like what is right and wrong. Let's push it back 4,000 years ago.
Right.
These people were probably, like, I hate to say it, pretty dumb.
Right. Yes.
They don't have the ability to even consent to it because they don't understand the
Exactly.
outcome.
Exactly. And also, they probably think they are doing right. Like, they probably are worshiping the God that took them out of Egypt and parted the Red Sea. But God doesn't see them and know their thought process behind that. He doesn't understand how human nature works. Like, they're going to try to follow the best they can. And sometimes that might look like a mess up, but that doesn't mean set them all on fire, which is what he does.
Right. Or just like appear and tell them what to do. Don't make them guess.
You're only speaking to one person. One
Right.
person.
And the travel, there's no phones, there's no, the communication. You have to wait till he gets back to tell you what
Yep.
is right or whatever. So it's like in the meantime, they're just trying to make do with the information that they have. Yeah. And he
Yeah.
can't. He's like, nope, sorry.
And it's like the
'Cause he's a
same
dick.
with Adam and Eve. Like, how could Eve have possibly understood the ramifications if they've never seen death, they've never seen sickness, everything is perfect, and God doesn't even explain all of the things that will happen if you eat the fruit? How is that really free will and consensual when she didn't even understand the ramifications of it?
Yep. And it's just like infuriating. And that's what I mentioned today is I was like, I'm just upset. There's so much injustice in it. And also just the language and way they speak is so similar to the way that they keep people in certain hierarchies today, especially women. And I was saying that it's like one of those things where once you see it, you can't unsee it in our society. Like once you see misogyny existing in everyone and everything, like it's impossible to unsee it. And I think that that's why I'm so mad because I'm like, oh my gosh, we do this in America. We do this to keep women down. I had a guy comment on my story, the same one that told me I couldn't believe in my own religion. He was like, look at these verses. They're all uplifting women. I went and looked and it's like, okay, when a when a father dies and all he has is daughters, his stuff can get passed on to his daughters. Like, look at how awesome that is.
Right.
They're uplifting.
I'm like, are you lifting them
Whoop-de-doo.
up and then throwing them off a cliff? Is that
Yeah.
the lifting of women? Because I feel like that
Like, oh my
tracks.
gosh, you didn't just like take something away. You just like, let nothing happen. Like, the logic
Right.
is,
Or
it's
when they
not being,
punish men in the Bible and the punishment is that their wife gets raped.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Or,
great for women. Love that.
yeah. And it's like women cheating on their husbands. If the husband is jealous of the woman, they have to bring her to the temple and they pour like holy water on her with ashes. And if it turns bitter, I don't know how exactly that would work, but if it turns bitter, she's guilty of cheating. And if it doesn't, she like is fine, but it's just this water that is like the dictator. Okay. And then if they find out she was cheating, it's like an abortion pretty much. God, like,
Mhm.
Right.
The oil,
like,
yeah, and the yeah.
yeah. And like
In the clay
fills her
pot.
uterus up and then yeah, it's so awful. Like, it's so awful. And it's like, holy crap. Women are so disproportionately punished and it's angering, like genuinely angering.
It's interesting about that passage because obviously God condones abortion then, but why is it that now all of a sudden he hates it? But he's like the biggest baby killer there is.
Maybe that's just the
Yeah.
man's job. Only if a man wants it, right?
Only if a man wants it.
But in
Yeah.
that case, it's so frustrating because he's like, if she miscarries, then she was obviously cheating. But we know that if she miscarries, it could be his baby too. Either way, you could be losing your own child or a cheater's child. But yeah, I don't know. That story is very strange to me.
It is very strange. That was another one that stood out for sure.
Can we have you back like 6 months in and then at the end so that
For sure.
we can have your
I
progress
definitely,
go through?
of course, yeah. I'm starting school in January as well, and I'm doing a philosophy of religion class. And so I'm sure my opinions will not change, but like be different than they are now. I'm very excited to get more into it. I'm very excited to get to the New Testament though. Like, will I become a convert? I don't think I will. But
Right.
it is interesting to see if I can see God's glory, I guess, or Jesus Christ's glory,
Right.
even as
Just
a
forget
fictional
everything
character.
else you read
Exactly.
before. Just don't think about that too hard.
It's
You know.
so frustrating because it's like the Old Testament was just so harsh. Like, just wait till the new. What? Like,
Right.
that's
But it's the
still the
same
same.
God. Yeah.
The
Ugh.
all knowing, all loving, perfect in all ways, or is he not? How can he change and improve? How can he do these evil things? He's either fake, which I think, or, he's a monster and he's none of those things that they claim he is.
Yeah,
Either
it's
way,
so
either way.
frustrating.
All I know is that in my experience, anyone that has read the Bible cover to cover has ended up leaving organized religion for sure, myself included. And it's because they have used their critical thinking skills to say, like, okay, if this is the guy that we're supposed to be worshiping, he's not somebody that I can jive with. Like, that's at least my experience with reading it from cover to cover.
I got criticisms when I first started of like, this is why we don't read it cover to cover. Print it a different way then. Like, if that's going to deter people from believing in it, it
But-
should be revised and edited to be printed in a different way. Like, chronologically, this story is bogus.
This is their inspiration for the way they live their whole lives. And they're like, this is the greatest thing ever. But please don't look too far into it. Just kind
You're
of
reading
like
it the wrong
believe
way.
it.
No, you don't get it.
Right.
Like,
Don't read it as it is. Read it as a man tells you what it's supposed to mean instead.
Mhm.
Well, it's interesting because
Yeah.
these are the same people that will say that you're taking things out of context, but like you're reading the thing with the full context.
Right. And they're like, no, not your context, my context.
or like John's context from thousands of years later. Like, you'll understand then. Like, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. Another thing people have been telling me, read it with a guide. Like, you need a guide to read it. I'm like, you're questioning my intelligence and ability to read it. I'm just reading it as a story. Like, it's pretty easy to follow along with, besides the insane names. The story is simpler than simple. It's a man that frees people from slavery to go to the promised land, and they fight people along the way. and they talk to God on the mountain. That's about
Right.
the story. Like,
There's a lot of filler. There's a lot of
yeah, I'm
bullshit
200
filler in there
pages
we
in,
don't
and
need.
that's all that's happened. Like, not much has happened so far. It's just repeating of the laws. Yeah, like, they repeat the laws so many times, and then they don't even use the laws. Like, they don't even use the punishment. They just go straight to killing. That's another thing I've noticed is, like, they laid out all these rules for sins and how to offer for a sin and all this stuff. They don't use it at all. He just comes down and, I'm an angry God, I'm a jealous God, and then kills everyone.
Right. Such a
Yep.
diva.
Such a diva.
And they say women are emotional.
Right.
Yeah, God is
He's-
one emotional human, or not
We
human,
just need
but
a matriarchy for like 100 years, and I feel like so many problems on Earth would
I
be
really-
solved. I feel like that's how it should have been, and they used religion to make it not that way.
yeah, I think a
Yeah.
matriarchy would be pretty sick and would just work a bit better. No
We could give it a
war.
shot. They've had their turn for a long time. Like it can't
Right.
possibly get any
Long term.
worse. So
We could just write our own Bible and then be like, let's just ease this one in. And then eventually, like generations down the line, that'll be the one that.
you know how some authors will, have a pen name. Like we could just pretend we're men, and then maybe people would take us seriously.
Exactly.
You never know. We could change this to Men Gone Godless.
Men
Doesn't
gone.
have the
Right.
same
No,
ring
men
to it.
finding-
No, it doesn't have the same ring to it at
It
all.
does not. Guys gone godless.
Mm,
Still
No.
not quite right.
Men are stupid. Men created God and men are stupid. So God is stupid. The end.
Right.
It's one way to put
Yeah.
it.
that version of God. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The God of the Bible.
Yes, the God of the Christian Bible. And
And some of the other
have
ones. Sorry.
have Liv, have you given yourself like a deadline, or are you just going until you get to the last page?
I was trying to finish it in 107 days because I was like, I'll read 10 pages a day. And then I got to numbers and I said, I can't read 10 pages a day. I was going strong reading 10 pages a day for a little bit. Now I read like 6 to 6.
6, 7.
I know. That's what I was like. I shouldn't say that. I would say 6 to 10 pages I read a day, somewhere around there. Sometimes I'll read one because it's like, oh my God. Like today was just killing after killing after killing, a little bit of unjustified action, all within one page. So I stopped at one page today and had to talk about it because it was a lot. So it just depends on what's happening in the plot.
Are you journaling it, or are you just keeping your little tabs and
Just keeping my tabs and like right on the sides and stuff when I read it. I annotate pretty heavily. A lot of WTFs
Mhm.
or what's going on.
Right.
But I do keep a doc on my computer of key things if there's certain verses I need to remember, anything like that. I also like kind of am using this as a way to educate myself to argue a little bit better. I love to go into a little debate sometimes with people. So I want to argue my position better and make them think a little harder on what they believe.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to take some classes, because I just get so stabby and I just want to like be like, what are like, how do you, but I need like,
Yeah.
I can't regurgitate the verses or the translations or anything in the heat of the moment. And I just get like, you're fucking stupid. And I don't want to be like that. Like, I really want to learn, and I want to be able to have, civilized conversations and arguments and debates about it. Because on here, I'm just always like, what the fuck? This is so stupid. I want to have, I want to be like, this is where I'm getting my information. I've taken this class, I've read this, I've done this, eventually I can say I've read the Bible cover to cover.
Right. You're all, it's this way, and let me tell you why it's fucking stupid.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now people are just like, oh, you're just an atheist, or you're just secular and you don't know what you're talking about, and you've never been, exposed to any of it. And, the people that I know that are the most devout Christians haven't read it, haven't read the whole thing. They go by what their pastor tells them and just stick to that. They don't go any further.
Right. If you're going to base your whole life off of it and want others to, that's the thing. You
But I
want
think
other
they're
people to
telling them not to.
Right.
Right? I mean, I would imagine that the church isn't telling people read it cover to cover. They're telling
Oh,
them
no.
read these
It's like
parts.
frowned upon. There's a specific, like even in this one, because this is from a church, it tells you, where should I read the Bible? Where should I start? The New Testament begins with the 4 Gospels. This is a great place to start. Start with John's Gospel, full of amazing stories about Jesus that will help you understand how much God loves you. You can also add a Proverbs chapter in each day. The that book is packed with God's wisdom.
Here's a book, but don't read the whole thing.
They just take the other shit out.
Right.
Yes. It's like an evolution. They need to just start printing it with like less and less. Like Trump, he printed his Bible and it's missing some shit and it has the Constitution in it and that's missing some shit. So, they're just taking shit out as they go. But I wanted to have more of a focus of the women of the Bible. And so I've been putting
Yeah.
books and stuff in my cart, like of women's Bible studies, because I want to see like what are they telling women to read? Because, it's mostly like how to be a good wife and how to, serve God and serve your husband. And women's Bibles are so thin. I'm like, they've taken out all the shit and all they've kept is like how to serve your husband. And that makes you the perfect woman.
It is truly so frustrating. And that's like one thing too that I am really interested in studying too. There's a lot of mistranslations in the Bible of people's names that are meant to be women. And that changes so much. Even the story of Adam and Eve, it could be side. It doesn't even necessarily mean rib. There's two different translations for this word. So it's like one's a partnership, the other's a hierarchy. There's
Right.
some changes that happen when we add context or go back to the original scripture. So definitely is interesting. And also there's this different retelling of Adam and Eve in the garden that Lilith is Adam's first wife. And Lilith becomes the snake in the garden because she ate the fruit. And she's telling Eve how awesome it is. Like, you don't have to listen to him.
Yeah. W. Lilith. I love her.
Yeah, she powerful. So there's so many books to read too. I'm just so excited to become more educated on it and talk to people who are more educated on it too, which will be really, really cool.
Yeah. That's
Right.
why I love doing this, because I don't know a lot about it. I know my own ethics and morals and why I don't believe it. And so I've never felt the need to like dive into it. But now that I'm learning more, I'm like, okay, it is really cool to understand exactly why and be able to tell people exactly why I'm not cool with,
A question for Liv. You've
Mhm.
gotten past the part where Abraham goes to the mountain and is going to go sacrifice his child. What do you think the conversation was like on the way back down with Abraham and Isaac?
Don't disrespect your father. Shut up and keep walking. I don't think there was probably much of one, to be honest.
Dead silence.
Yeah, because that's a huge thing is don't disrespect your mother or father. And so if you're questioning their authority, that's dishonor because that's like a direct disrespect in the Bible. And so, yeah, I don't think there was much of a response. Yeah, there's been so many. It's the littlest stories, not the long ones, the little ones. Lot and his daughters.
Yeah.
Get your father
that's-
drunk? What? Like, okay.
The
That
book of family values.
yeah, there's just a lot of like little tiny stories where I'm like, what? Like more detail, please.
Speaking of little stories, Liv, are you interested in playing a round of Bible Mad Libs?
Absolutely.
Yes. I have a couple of Bible passages and I'm just going to ask for a couple of fill in the blanks and then we can read it back. So, first thing I'm going to ask from you is the name of a celebrity.
Justin Bieber,
Okay. And I'm going to need the name of your favorite big city.
Los Angeles.
Love it. And I need an action verb.
Jumped or jumping?
And then I need like an insult that you would call someone.
An idiot.
And then I will take the name of a political figure.
Zoran Mondani.
Yes.
And then a number.
22.
Okay. And an animal.
Cat.
And a location.
Milan, Italy.
All right.
We've never
Are we
done
ready?
this before. I'm excited to hear it.
No, we haven't. We've never
Not
done this
ready.
before. This is the first time. Okay. So this is from the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2, verses 23 through 24. From there, Justin Bieber went up to Los Angeles. As he was jumping along the road, some boys came out of the town and jeered at him. "Get out of here, idiot," they said. "Get out of here, idiot." He turned around and looked at them and called down a curse on them in the name of Zoran Mamdani. Then 22 cats came out of Milan, Italy, and mauled 42 of the boys.
Makes sense. God loves
It
killing
makes as
kids.
much sense as the original fucking story.
Right.
Yeah. I was about to say, do you have the original passage?
No, we can tell the original passage really well.
Okay. So there's this man walking through this town where there just happens to be 42 kids?
42
just
boys,
standing
yeah.
there. 42 boys to be specific. And they say, "Get out of here, Baldy. Get out of here, Baldy." And then
Oh, People were so
And then
excited for me to read this story. Yeah.
yes. And so then he's so upset that they made fun of his bald head. So he prays to the Lord to cause a curse on these kids. And then these 2 giant bears come out of the woods and they kill 42 children. So don't make fun of bald men is
So
the
in this
lesson
story,
there.
instead it was the 22 cats that mauled the children.
Right.
How far away is Kings from me? Because I'm excited to read this. Oh, Kings too. We're almost
You'll
there.
breeze right through it. Yeah.
So you lived in LA and then you moved to Texas?
Terrible mistake. Well, not actually. It was very great for me, but oh my God, I miss LA. I just like moved to LA when I was 18. So that's all I've ever known out of my hometown. And it's so like normal there. To me, that's LA's very normal to me. And then I move out of LA and I'm like, normal people are living very weird. Like this is culture shock moving here rather than moving to LA for me. Yeah.
Right.
Makes sense.
And you're in Austin, which is very progressive, right? I mean, in the big scheme of things.
They say I disagree though. The young generation is very conservative Christian here.
Interesting.
I wonder, are they college educated?
Yeah, it's all the tech bros. The
Yeah.
tech business here is really huge.
So tech bros are just shitty everywhere.
And it's getting bigger here. Like the Tesla City is right down the street from us. Like, yeah, there's so many Amazon buildings here and all the businesses downtown, like in the buildings are all tech. I've had a really weird experience here running into very religious people and very conservative people. And everyone was like, that's not been my experience at all. Like I've only
That's
met
so
liberal people
weird.
here. And I'm like, where?
Maybe you have a different point of reference because you were in LA. So to them, a lot of liberal, open-minded people might be a different version than what you would describe as that.
That's my thought too, because I'm like, liberal meaning
Right.
LA liberal? Because that's like
Women can wear pants sometimes.
the Republican hippie is what's liberal to them.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
And to me, tech bros being religious is just very strange. Like, I think
Culturally religious.
right. Yeah. Because they're conservative and they have to give that. Yeah.
Right.
air
God
or whatever.
bless.
Right. Because Peter Thiel had a thing in San Francisco a couple months ago about Satan taking over, like the Antichrist coming. And I'm like, number one, you're gay. And number two, you're science-y. And it's like so weird that
He's
that you would-
gay.
yes.
Like I said, a gay white man is still a white man at the end of the day. That
Mhm.
guy is
True.
a piece of shit.
But
Mhm.
yeah, it's like how can you reconcile those two? I mean, I have a very hard time with like doctors and any kind of science-minded people also being religious because I'm like, once you learn about how things work, you don't have to rely on a man in the sky telling you how things work, you know? That just blows my mind that there's so much of that there. But I think in Texas you just have
We're
to
still in
be to
Texas.
yeah.
The bar
And
is
there's probably
low.
more people who aren't, but they're scared, you know, they can't be out. Because like I'm in a lot of like atheist agnostic groups and a lot of people are like, I live in Texas or I live in the Bible Belt and I can't be out. I have to pretend. And so it's like how many people are pretending? And if they had a chance to be their authentic self, who would they be? You know?
Yeah.
I know in your video you said you were moving. Are you moving within Texas or are you?
Getting out of here.
Yay!
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. In June, I'm going to be moving up to New Jersey. I really want to go to Rutgers University up there.
Okay.
Or NYU. If I could get in, that would be really sick, but I just have to do really well in school. So I want to move up there anyways. And that's close to my home. My mom lives in Michigan. My dad lives in Kentucky. So New Jersey is a lot closer than Austin and a lot
Right.
closer than LA. So that'll be nice, easier to go home.
Yeah, that sounds like a good option. Where can our listeners find you so they can also watch your Reading the Bible Cover to Cover series?
On TikTok, it's at live_love_love3.
I'll
It's
put it in
just-
the show notes. It's
Yeah.
live L-I-V because that's her
Yes,
name.
L-I-V,
But
yes.
yeah, check the show
And
notes and you can
then-
see it.
And then I have a YouTube. It's oliviapage.22. And then that's also my Instagram.
Okay, perfect.
And you said you have a Substack as well.
Oh, yeah. And a Substack. That's oliviapage.22. It's all linked in my TikTok bio. I have like
Perfect.
a all links thing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
This was awesome. Thank you
you.
so
Yeah.
much.
It was. Yes. Thank you.
Anytime.
I'm like, come back when you start
I'll
the
let
New
you guys know
Testament.
yes,
Right.
I'll let you know when I finish the Old Testament. I feel like that's a good spot to check back in, yeah. But thank you guys so much. It was
Thank
nice to
you.
meet you guys.
Hallelujah, I am